I never gave myself to a relationship the way I gave myself to my marriage. I have to break it to you, but I'm no longer a virgin, and I don't know how you feel about that. So I was like, yeah. So I was heartbroken. So like, yeah, that was
that.
What do you mean? I did not know that people were capable of evil like this, like to accuse someone of something that did not happen. You know what I mean? Or something that happened completely differently, mischaracterizing it because you know that in a court of law it's your word against mine, or you know what I mean? Like everyone loves the juicy, gossipy tidbits. So yeah, man, what happened in my story, the reason why I was with my lawyers on Friday is because I was getting a protection order for extortion in one room and harassment.
This is when you've come back from New York.
This is just now.
Also, you met her now?
Now.
After you've come back from New York?
In July, yes.
Oh, okay.
Watshela upastor ukuthi yo bangitshontshele ifoni, upastor wathi hawu bangitshontshele ifoni kuphi, wathi khona la bayifuna bangayitholi. Pastor wathembisa abantu ama 90,000. Hey manje ngathola le phone elahlekile ngizonika 90,000. I'm Daniel in the den of lions, and the Lord will shut their mouths, and none of these lions will devour me. I didn't want her to be like, okay, she told me she likes me, now I'm rejecting her immediately.
But you liked her too?
No.
But indaba yami straight ayifuni rula kanti wena unamba bani
angisafuni next
koko come in indaba yami straight ayifuni. Do you know the power of digital media, that me just doing this, I'm sending 10 of you or even 100 of you, but because this video is going to exist for a very long time, I don't know in the next 10 years how many people would have watched this video, that after watching this, they'll go straight to stream.
Yeah.
Nota, how you doing, bro?
I've been better.
You've had an eventful week.
Yeah,
Welcome to Tembisa, guys. We are at the weekend. The Weekend is one of the many brands that the entrepreneurs from Tembisa started. What you're seeing behind me is the street food culture that the guy started many years ago. Became one of the biggest things Ekurhuleni or in the country. I think we're one of the pioneers, Amachita, our street food market. So they had street food Sundays. They built it to become a
Saturdays.
brand. And then, but the street food market will be the culture. But the brand would be Sundays, right?
Okay.
And then they also built Pizza Sundays. Pizza Sundays, everyone up
Yeah.
So today I decided, let me bring the authority Kaslami. You've had quite an eventful week, and Lapane Kaslake Masabab Sin.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Have you ever been to Tembisa?
Many times. I got family here. I guess I've been here many times.
There's another hustler there selling a veg.
Yeah. And I used to like a team called Tembisa Classic. I used to like them because
Tembisa Classic.
The stadiums were also fire, like the vibe at their games. It was always full. You know what I mean? Even though they were a small team. And then there was there was a game, I don't know, Tembisa Classic was playing against two. And then there was someone talking, like they were interviewing the guy. And he just punched the guy like that was talking in the background. I think one of the coaches.
Was the game in Bakulong or Mhlari?
I don't know which stadium it was.
Yeah.
Or what the name of the stadium was, rather, sorry. But the guy was just like making noise. You know when you're on camera and you're on the news or something and then people in the background come and, jump around.
Yeah.
I'm shining you. As if nothing happened. I was like, okay. That's a Tembisa classic moment. So yeah, man, it's just sad that there isn't a Tembisa football club anymore.
There will be one of these few years to come.
Okay, I hope so.
But how are you doing?
The vibe is good.
How's your well-being? How are you doing? You've had quite a challenging week, I can imagine.
Yeah, no, this is obviously, yeah, I've had a week from hell. You know, I don't know how I'm doing actually. You know, to be quite honest with you, but I'm alive, and yeah, I'm just taking each moment as it comes. Right about now, you know. But yeah, I'm just grateful for the fact that, you know, I thought I had like dark moments, like really dark moments, but this one is my darkest one. And you know, in my other dark moments, I was like, is it not dark enough? Can people not see that it's dark out here? You know, no one's coming to help. No one's coming to say, yo. But now when I really needed it, my circle has really come through for me. You know what I mean? So like, I'm encouraged by that, that I've got people that hold me down, you know, people that support me, and yeah, that want the best for me. So, you know, as we do our best to overcome this current challenge, you know, I've got lots of resolve and I've got lots of faith as well. And yeah, I guess that's about it. It's another test.
Can you talk about it, or you're not allowed to?
Well, I mean, I can talk about. No, I haven't been charged, so I can talk about whatever it is. Well, as it stands, as we're recording now. So, you know, and another thing is that it's funny that you asked that question. And I don't want people to think that I'm hesitant to answer whether I can or cannot speak. I'm just trying to find the words quickly. I'm thinking in my head. Because I don't want it to be misquoted. The issue that we have, right, when people face accusations, especially serious ones, right, is that all of a sudden you are now told that you must let the law take its course. You must just keep quiet or whatever. They don't acknowledge the actual injury that's happening to you if you are innocent, right? And supposed to be presumed innocent until proven guilty. You should have the right to defend your reputation and your good name, you know? And it's just tricky because our media is so dominated by politicians, and politicians never want to be caught out in the media saying something that could be contradicted later on. So that's why they don't say anything. And also, it's inadvisable to speak because someone might take your public statements, you might have misstated something, and then you don't remember it properly, whatever the case may be. And then when you're on record, they use something that you said as a public statement, you know, and you could incriminate yourself. So my objection to that is that if you're innocent, there's no way to incriminate yourself. You know what I mean? If you're just telling the truth, and if you're innocent and you're not scared of telling the truth, then why should you keep quiet? Because what you're saying is the truth. You know? So this thing of policing the truth is also, there's no my truth and your truth. There's objective truth. There's your perspective. There's your perception. There's your recollection. You know what I mean? There's your, whatever you may call it. But you cannot say it's truth. The truth is objective. It's water. This is water. It's got no other additives. You know what I mean? There's nothing else inside it. All you'll find is H2O, you know, or 2H2O for a balanced equation. So, and that's for those of you that are writing metric. We have to teach the kids, you know. Yeah, man, I just, I don't want to find myself in a position where I'm silenced, you know. Last week, Friday, I was calling you. I think we were supposed to record
Yeah, I was supposed to record on Friday, yeah.
Yeah, so I ended up going to Empt Studios.
Yeah.
I was with my lawyers the whole Friday.
Yeah.
With my lawyers saying, okay, fine, filling out an application for a protection order.
So from the uyirroundise kanje. Yeah, kanjalo. Yeah, just ukuthi kubheke.
Mele ngiyilule la, cala. And then
No, not lapho. Lapho controller.
No, it's also the twist. It's also the twist, yeah. Yes, Aspana in every single position. We've been interns, we've been camera hands. Everything that is being done on this set right now, I've done before. I've handled the lights, I've handled the cameras. You know what I mean? I used to handle 7Ds back then. Now we're on, what is it? Sony. Alphas. Because those have got the cinematic pictures. But the 7D really changed the music game. Gorilla Films were one of the first production companies to start using this 7D effectively. And
that was D-Rex's brother, right? David Campos, wasn't it?
Yeah, Justin and
David,
yeah. Yeah. So the Campus Brothers, Pilot Films as well. The churn out of music videos during that era when they brought in the 7D. It's a cheaper camera. I think the body at the time was around about 30,000 rands or 35,000 rands just for the body. A lens you could get for decent prices as well. And that's brought out a big churn in music videos and music video content. So, it's just so funny that now that we watch YouTube as a default, everyone just puts on YouTube and then they allow it to stream. As I'm going through this drama that I'm going through, how my daughter, like the algorithm, like every house, because I've been visiting a lot of my friends, every house that I go into, within 3 songs, singing any my babo. Within 3 songs, how my daughter. You know what I mean? So I'm like, this is an inescapable situation. It's an inescapable occurrence.
For somebody who's watching now from Namibia or Ethiopia or New York or London or Mlazi, who doesn't know you, who's bumping into this episode for the first time, who does not know what has been trending, what has happened in your story?
So man, what happened in my story, the reason why I was with my lawyers on Friday is because I was getting a protection order for extortion and harassment, So I was being extorted by someone that, I could call it a casual or perceived relationship. And I woke up one morning, I think on the 5th, and there was a barrage of messages in my phone, like, message after message after message after message after message after message. And after reading the messages and like seeing what's happening, I could see that, okay, the messages are about an incident that happened the day before in the afternoon between 11:50 and like, let's say 1 p.m., right? Between those times when I had someone over at my place. Immediately I knew, okay, I'm being set up here. At first I could tell that, there was a blackmail nature to it. And because of the number of messages that I needed to respond to, I was trying to respond to the most important parts, Number one, whether there was questions of consent in the incident, I wanted to clear that up in the messages so that, it could be cleared up. And to my belief, it was cleared up, in that conversation. But in that conversation that I'm having on text, I'm fighting for my life. I'm like, okay, fine, I want to defend myself. What I'm seeing is something that looks very, very heinous. You know what I mean? I see I'm being extorted, but also at the same time, I don't want to trigger this person to do the worst. You know what I mean? So I had measured responses, just straight to the point, not over elaborating, like straight to the point.
And who's that person that you're talking to?
Well, it's Okashi or Itumeleng Bukaba. So, it was just sad because I think even when I met this person, I was in a bit of a daze, maybe I could say, because I don't know how it progressed to the stage that it progressed to so quickly. But I succumbed, and
You succumbed to the alleged extortion?
well, I mean, I didn't succumb to it. I haven't succumbed to it. And
What do you
that's
mean
why
you
the
succumbed?
charges were opened against me. When I say I succumbed to, having a casual relationship with this person.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay. Oh, sorry.
So, it wasn't like something I was thinking about or aiming for. It just so happened.
Because that's what I've asked you, I think, more than once on this podcast. Like, when are you moving on, bro? Like, your
Yeah.
divorce happened,
Yeah.
and you have not been.
I
with
wasn't
that
even intending to move on or anything of the sort. It wasn't that sort of thing. I have no idea, what brought me into the situation. But, sometimes when you have a little bit of a seclusion, you're isolated. So people come in, anybody that comes in gives you company. You're inclined to now want to trust them more than you should. So I was a bit naive and I let my guard down. And then, I ignored some red flags that I should have heeded to. And on that particular morning in question, I questioned myself. I said, should I meet this person? Yes or no? Because I've seen something that, is a matter of concern. But you know what? They say they want to speak. So maybe this will be an opportunity to fix that, right?
Okay, what were those red flags?
Oh, just like, the first red flag was the inappropriate messages, inappropriate times of messages, like, you know what I mean? So the person approached me on some professional tip, but their behavior was very casual, So that's the mixed signals types of thing. And then just like inappropriate messages, like to be sending to someone that you don't know that well. Like, I only met this person in July, like officially. I'd never met them before, even though they'd sent me a text like many years, but I don't see all the texts that come into my phone, especially from numbers that I haven't saved. So after the initial conversation that we had on Instagram, we chatted on WhatsApp, we met up a couple of times. I took this person to, I took it to Milling. If I say this person, I didn't want to put a name to it, but we've already done so. And I don't want people to think that I'm saying this person in an undermining manner. So I took Itumeleng to Music X. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, you complaining about your Samro things and all these things. All of these people are there at Music X. So you can go around, you can meet with everyone that you need to meet with to fix whatever issue you've got. You can consult with all of them, all in one room.
This is when you've come back from New York.
This is just now. This is now.
Also, you met her now?
Now.
After
and
you've come
in July.
back from New York?
In July, yes.
Oh, okay. Oh, you didn't know them from a long time ago?
No, I didn't know this person at all.
Okay.
This is the first time meeting.
Okay.
So when I look at that incident or the day that it happened, I was like, my gut was telling me. But also at the same time, because of the prior behavior, I was like, I don't want to anger this person, and then they might, because our relationship had gotten a little bit more casual as well, or a little bit more friendly, let me say. So I didn't want her to be like, okay, she told me she likes me, now I'm rejecting her immediately.
But you liked her too?
No.
You didn't?
No. I don't like anyone.
But why do you hang out with us if you don't like us?
Not like that. You guys are guys. Yeah, but I mean, I don't like anyone. Like, I like, that's it. I never gave myself to a relationship the way I gave myself to my marriage, and so even when I got married, I knew that I'll probably never find someone like the person that I married, and that's why I got married in the first place. So when it ended, I think that was also one of the most hurtful things, is that people are irreplaceable. So it is what it is. And for me, it's like, you know, if it's not her, I'm not looking for anyone else. That's just it. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't mind company, you know. It's just that I realize now, with the amount of people that get to know me without me knowing them well, I need to be very careful. Like, it's something that I never used to have to think about, that, you know, you're a target. You know what I mean? People look at you and see a meal ticket, or see a ticket to their dreams, or see a magician. You know what I mean? Or see someone they can blackmail and extort. You know? So yeah, it's just the hardest way to learn this lesson. That not everyone you meet has got good intentions, and that you can't be too trusting or let your guard down. You know, you need to screen people. Even if you're gonna meet people, you need to ask around. Yo, you know this person? Yo, what type of person are they? You know what I mean? Those are things I usually do.
But that's what they say. I mean, with any relationship, even especially when you're a girl, like, take time to know guys, especially even getting intimate with them. Take time, get to know them well first. You know. I guess with us as well, with guys, and knowing we're in the industry.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's usually the guard is up when you're looking for someone that you want to date. You want to go into a relationship with. That's not what I'm looking for, or that's not what I was looking for, you know, at all. So, you know, it's just sad that I have to go through this in this way. But I'm strong, you know, and I'm also a faithful believer. So, you know, I'm pretty sure that I'll get through this and come out of this better.
But you didn't force you to hang out with her intimately. Did she invite you to her place? Did you invite her to your place?
No, she couldn't. Well, she wanted to come to my place, and I said yes. You know what I mean? It's not like I was like, hey. If ever she wanted to come, it was something that she wanted to do, or she had said, oh, I'll come to your place during the week or whatever. And maybe I could check up and say, okay, you said you were coming. Are you coming, or what's going on? You know? So yeah. And she still stays with her mom. So, you know, also I didn't know her like that. Like,
and respect parents as well. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, you know, yeah. So it is what it is. You know, the saddest part is in all of this is that, you know, she's got a little daughter who came, and, you know, her daughter's like super smart. She's like very articulate. Like, I think she's 3 or 4 years old, but like, yo, even little Nota wasn't like that. You know what I mean? She's very and like, the first time she met me when they came to my place, she just ran up to me and just lay on my shoulder, like jumped on top of me, like not like on a hug, like, okay, I'm falling asleep on top of your lap now, you know. So, you know, I love kids,
but I'm confused, Nota.
Yeah.
Or maybe this is not the same person. I think there was a conversation around her being a virgin at some point.
No, that is not the same person.
Oh, this is a different story.
It's a different person, yeah.
This is a different person.
Oh, you're talking about my heartbreak story.
Oh, I'm confused.
My heartbreak story.
These are two different stories. Because I'm like, I ain't the same.
Let me push you onto the heartbreak story, because I didn't tell it properly. You know what I mean?
I'm lost.
Yeah.
I'm really confused, honestly.
So, I met this girl. She was still a virgin.
This is before New York, before you went to New York.
Yeah, a couple years ago. But she was
guys, meaning before 2023.
Yeah, she was 21 at the time. You know, I think she was 21. So 2022 2022, 2023. I'm in New York the whole year, whatever. But we're still chatting. You know, we're still catching up with each other. And I was still I had like a 2-year celibacy stint. You know what I mean? That's a serious one. Like someone was like, "Yo, weren't you celibate?" I was like, "Yeah, I was celibate for 2 years." They're like, "I know, that's a little too long."
I'm like, almost 5 years.
5 years.
I've done it for 5 years. Much but they don't understand what you're going through. When you're going through a process, and you want to be as pure as you can, and you're retaining your semen, and you just have goals that you're focusing on, and you're so disciplined. It does happen, but I don't expect everyone to understand. Yeah. I think it's in our nature, especially yo. It's why 5 years, daughter. But
yeah, no, but like, you know, the way, like, the person was like, "How, Ganti, what happened to you?" And then when I responded, I said, "No, I was celibate for 2 years." And then they're like, "Yo, this is too long." And then I'm like, this guy was trying to diss me. And then when I tell him,
and they don't. Sometimes like, people don't understand. It's not good. It's by choice.
That's it.
It's not like there aren't a lot of options.
No,
it's just by choice. Yeah.
No, in fact, there's more options when you're celibate. You know what I mean? In fact, that's how you have a backlog. So, I go to the States. I come back. When I come back from the States, you know, old girl wasn't sure whether I'm coming back or not. Now we meet up. We're having lunch and stuff like that. You know, we're getting closer. We're rekindling a relationship, or now we're taking the relationship to the next level. And then I took on a vacation, you know, went to Cape Town, everything else, you know. So after we come back, I'm like, okay, fine. My divorce is nearly finalized. So, you know, when you're ready, I want to send my uncles. After that, we start fighting now all the time. I'm like, oh, what is up with this fighting? Like, why are we fighting? Why are we arguing? She's just getting angry at me for things. And I'm like, hey, this is really weird. This is really weird. Sorry, this might be an emergency, Baba.
No problem. You can take it, show.
Papa?
Hola, Bafeto. Sharp.
Yeah, so, sorry, I think I hung up actually. So, from there, you know,
you're back from
I
the
just
States.
said, give yourself space. Just like I just did now when the call interrupted me. I was like, yo, let me give you space. You'll get back to me when, you know what I mean, when you're ready. And then, after a while, she called me when she was ready. And she told me like, yo, man, you know, while you're away in the States, I ended up hooking up with this other guy. And now it's a big deal because, like, yo, you're trying to marry me and stuff. It's like, you know, and I have to break it to you, but, you know, I'm no longer a virgin, and I don't know how you feel about that. So I was like, yeah. So I was heartbroken. So, like, yeah, that was
that.
What do you mean?
That was that. That's a different sister.
Yeah, that's a different.
So
that
Itumeleng is a different sister.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then that's when you met Sister Itumeleng months later.
Maybe 2 months later, after the heartbreak.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Now I'm clear. I was confused. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So after the heartbreak, yeah. But even then, I wasn't like even looking for something, because like I just gotten back to the mind, because like I was like, damn. Now I'm thinking, okay, fine. I'm probably gonna get married again. Yay! Back to being an honest man. I'm like, damn.
Come on, Nota. So now you get heartbroken just because she lost her virginity to somebody else.
It's not about that.
But you did say that she's no longer with that person she lost her virginity to.
No, it didn't matter. It didn't matter.
Oh, it didn't matter. Oh, okay.
The whole entire point was.
Oh, now you hung on to the fact that you found somebody who's so pure. You're looking forward to it. Potential marriage.
Yeah, and I'm waiting. I'm not rushing her or doing anything. You know what I mean? I just chilled.
Shango size 14.
So I'm like, you're gonna make me wait for marriage. Like the levels of heartbreak, they're deep, but they're deep. Yeah, it's not that simple. It's a really serious. It's got nothing to do with someone else. It's got to do with like, what position did you put me in?
But sometimes you must put yourself in her shoes as well. Like, must she wait for you? You're in New York, bro.
Well, no, but by that time I hadn't made my intentions clear. Like,
Okay,
but
you
I was
still...
just checking. I was just checking. Okay. Okay. No, sure.
Niyafunda gents ke ne. Lento kulobela ushela indendende ngathi introduction engoma yepiano iqala after 10 years. No. Yenza into yakho yenza ama date nyana ambalwa and then make your intentions clear. Otherwise kuzovela ndoda abantu. I'm sorry, bro. Ngishona leyo na ikubukele la kulama podcast yasho ukuthi
ayazi.
Iphula inhliziyo lebhasi. Ayicavi ne. Sure. I'm sorry, bro. I'm not laughing at you, but I mean, you know the game. You know how the game is.
You know what I mean? So, like, now I'm in a head spin. I'm going through a lot. I'm dealing with a divorce. I'm dealing with other stress, business, and all this other stuff. I talk to lawyers more than I talk to normal people. You know what I mean? I'm always talking to lawyers. I don't go out because I hate going out because there's just too many people outside sometimes. And also the going out experience these days, VIP ruined everything. You can't go out and just have a normal experience. You can't chill. I don't drink. So I'm not part of the bottle culture or anything else. So it's not fun for me. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. So a whole lot of loneliness and boredom. And I ended up getting myself into trouble. So, I guess that's the lesson for me there. Is that if I don't focus on my purpose, I'll distract myself with pleasure and, that's it. So, yeah, it's just a tough one to deal with, man. I hate being scared of the sound of ambulances. It's traumatizing. I hate just walking around with such a huge allegation on my face. Even if someone smiles when they see me, it's like, you know what I mean? And that stench is something that I will never be able to get off me, because even if people forget about this, even if people, believe in my innocence, whatever the case may be, this trauma that I'm feeling now is going to change how I see human beings forever. Like, I thought I knew how evil people could be if they wanted to. You know what I mean? But you don't really know it until someone uses their ability to commit evil acts on you. It's like everyone can do something evil. Everyone. We're all capable of doing it. But you've got the power not to. And you don't use that power. You know what I mean? And another thing is that I hate, like, my dad was with me the whole week, going up and down. He was with me the whole day. He took me to M Studios. And you went there, sorry. And like, just over the past couple of days, like, he hasn't been walking as upright as he's been of late. You know what I mean? He was recovering better. I was massaging his feet the other days, like, his feet are in pain. All of a sudden now he's getting ailments again. And I'm like, this is really eating at my parents. My mother is distressed. And I'm just thinking, like, what is going through her mind? Because when these things happen to other mothers, I'm sure she's thinking to herself, Ish, I hope this never happens to my son, or not with my son. You know what I mean? And I still adhere to everything my mother taught me. You know what I mean? The same manners that she taught me, that made me always a good visitor. You know what I mean? To this day. There's no way where I've been.
Do you respect women?
Yes, of course. You know what I mean? And
do you believe when young women cry out, they should be listened to and heard?
I believe that people shouldn't be violating one another in general. That's it. Now, because of what has happened to me and what I've seen happening to other people, my opinions have changed on certain things. You know what I mean? Like in the eye of the storm of the Metoo movement, I was like, okay, yes, let's believe everyone, because I did not know that people were capable of evil like this, like to accuse someone of something that did not happen, you know what I mean, or something that happened completely differently, mischaracterizing it because you know that in a court of law it's your word against mine, or you know what I mean, and you're willing to play Zwepi with someone's life because it's a head or tails type of thing that you're gambling for when you go for something like this, right? You're like, hey, well, if they believe me, this person's going to jail and whatever, you know. And yeah, I just didn't know the extent of the evil. But now I believe that each and every single case should be heard on its own merit. And when you hear about a case that has happened, you don't say, oh yes, you know, I went to this other place in Tembisa, you know, and yes, my drink got spiked. And now your friend says, oh, I'm going to the weekend. And like, hey, don't worry, be scared. They spike drinks.
Yeah, hello.
They spike drinks over there. But you didn't go to the weekend where your drink got spiked. That's where the case actually happened. But now, because you were in Tembisa, every single place, they spike drinks. You understand what I'm saying? Every single place gets an accusation. And the person who spikes drinks at that other place, now they get away with it because they don't know where to look, because every single place, they're spiking drinks. You know what I mean? The resources now that are needed to look for the real perpetrators are wasted on the hoaxes, you know? So right now, I say we need consequences for people who abuse the law as a deterrent, so that we know that when someone makes an allegation, they wouldn't make a false allegation, because if it's proven to be false, the consequences are so severe, right, that they know that, okay, this is what needs to happen, you know. In my case, you know, I'm just fortunate. I'm in a better position than a lot of other men who have maybe been through this. You know what I mean? I could get legal advice. You know, my lawyer said, hey, get a protection order for the harassment, for the blackmail. You know what I mean? This will strengthen your case. Also, a protection order is granted by a magistrate. You know what I mean? It's not a police officer that's opening a case. You know what I mean? It's not a prosecutor that's investigating, you know, a matter that has been handed to them by detectives. It's an actual judge that says, I've seen enough prima facie evidence to say that this person is being harassed, being extorted, being blackmailed, and I'd like to protect them from this. You know what I mean? So that's also a very serious thing. So I'm grateful to my legal advisors for advising me to go that route. And it has also given me a little bit of relief that what's being done to me will not go unpunished. You know what I mean? That there will be consequences. You know, the protection order triggers its own trial to enforce a permanent protection order as well. So that's also something that I also will have to prepare for with my lawyers. But the saddest thing is that this is a very costly exercise. You know what I mean? I've never asked my friends for money in my life. For the first time in my life, I had to like accept money from my friends. You know what I mean? And it's humbling that I've got people that support me enough that can give me a helping hand when I need it, whatever it is. And also very fortunate that I've got friends who are in a position to deposit as much as 20k, 30k at a time. You know what I mean? Just to assist me. But I never thought I'd be in such a position where my life is in such danger. It's so precariously perched, you know, because this is a criminal matter. Anything else like a lawsuit is a civil matter, you know. It doesn't ordinarily come with prison time. This does. Serious prison time.
So this is in court?
life. I haven't been charged yet.
Okay.
So as we're recording this right now, we're waiting on the prosecutor to review whatever statements he'll be able to get, whatever evidence is supplementary, and then they will decide whether the case goes on to the roll and if it goes to trial, and hopefully the prosecutor will be able to see in my favor that there isn't anything worth going to trial over here.
But the intimacy did happen, but you're saying it was in consent.
Yes, it was consensual.
Consensual.
And also, within the text messages that I got the day after or the morning after, right? That was expressed, that was discussed, and that was resolved. That the questions about that, you know what I mean? After I got a whole barrage of essays. I'm not talking about just one essay after essay after essay after essay.
And the intimacy happened once or more than once?
Once.
Oh, it was just once. Okay.
Yeah. But after that once, immediately, and after that drama that happened afterwards, I was like, very skeptical. I was like,
What drama?
The drama that happened in the morning where I received all these text messages.
Sorry, I have not read anything online.
You haven't,
so I don't
the
know.
text
Don't
messages
assume I
are
know
out
anything.
there.
I don't know nothing.
Okay, the text messages are out there. If you watch Own Narrative podcast, we go through the various text messages there. So just watch Own Narrative podcast with Promise.
Okay, we'll put the
and
link,
I said
we'll
her
put
name
the link on the
wrong
description.
the whole entire time. I kept calling her Precious.
Okay.
And she never corrected me once.
Okay.
I don't know why she did that, but check out the Own Narrative. You don't need to put a link in the description. They know. They'll go Own Narrative and then Nota, and then they'll search for it, and all the other content that's on her channel. Because I don't want us to get bogged down into this story and retelling it, because I've already told it there, and there I was going through the messages, like she was reading the messages. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I'm not saying we must read the message, but just a summary.
I'm summarizing it for you now.
Full time, push on, Buffett. Danko.
So the summary that I'm giving to you is that, at least I wanted have the message read from a female perspective, number one, so that maybe I could see where in my messages I have been offensive. And when we read through the messages, there's not one message that Promise read that I sent that she thought, oh, this is offensive, or this is mean, or this is a concern. But when it came to the messages that I was receiving, there was many red flags that she was picking up the whole entire time, So with all of this and the cloud around it, I was like, am I crazy? Am I seeing things wrong? Maybe am I misreading this? And I just needed that platform to actually interrogate it. And I think, I watched it afterwards, and within 12 hours it had 30,000 views or whatever. So it went viral immediately, and it dropped at 6 p.m. So that was quite surprising for me. But I guess there's a lot of interest in this whole story. So when I'm going through the comments, everyone loves the juicy, gossipy tidbits, And when it comes to summarizing or I guess my reputation or my brand, people always put it down to something I said when I was trolling or whatever, you know what I mean? Or something I said in response to someone who was being mean to me, and oh, this person is so like this, is so like this, is so like this, is so like this. 100%, of people that have met me like me. I've never met someone and then even people that are almost impossible to like. You know what I mean? Sometimes I've hung out with really drunk guys. Sometimes guys get drunk and they get annoying. So I've never had that experience where even the drunk, annoying guy is mad at me. So it was a bit concerning that, I think we spent the first 10 minutes of that interview talking about, she's saying post-divorce adolescence. They're men that get divorced, they're like adolescents. They go back into an adolescent stage. And I thought that was an actually interesting thing, because I'd never actually heard of it.
Who said that?
Promise said that. Yeah. Did I say precious again?
No, you said promise now. Earlier on, you were saying precious.
Yeah. And I said it on the show a couple of times, and she never corrected me. So they missed that whole entire part. You know what I mean? And I think that was the most telling part. When I rewatched that interview, I was like, damn. You know what I mean? I really saw myself like actually sharing, like the pain that, you know, one tries to forget certain things so that one can move on. You know what I mean? So you forget that, hey, I'm actually going through pain. Actually, I'm bleeding. Actually, you know, I'm cut here. You know what I mean? And you just move and you whatever. And then when you have to extend yourself or stretch yourself, or you're like, oh, I forgot about that injury. You know what I mean? And when you re-injure it, mautunugeka, it's even more painful. You know what I mean? And yeah, that was the whole entire thing. I was like, I wouldn't be in this mess if, you know, I'd been able to save my marriage. And yeah, not to say that it's someone else's responsibility, but knowing how committed I was to my relationship and my marriage, and, you know, the fact that something of this nature would have been impossible. It just like it's like damn, bro, you like left me out here in this open cold ocean, you know, with these choppy waters, knowing what we've been through, knowing what I've shared, you know, knowing how vulnerable, you know, when you get married you become very vulnerable to that person. Like, they know all your deepest darkest secrets, you know what I mean? They know all your weaknesses, you know, they know how it is when you're in pain. And it's just, I always tell myself, you know, I always tell the story as like, you know, the first time I learned how to swim at Sharon D Primary, so they put us in the big swimming pool for our swimming lesson in grade 1, ne? But I was still short in grade 1. My growth spurt was late. I'm only tall now. You know what I mean? The other day you were saying you just noticed I'm tall. Yeah, so I'm only tall now. So I was really short. I was too short for the shallow end. And I don't think I put on my life vest things. I can't remember. But I was in the pool and my big sister she was in grade 7 at the time. Well, she was in standard 5. It was still standard 5 then. It changed the next year, I think, to grade 7. And she's there, and I was drowning in the shallow end of the pool because I was too short. I was under the water while standing, and I couldn't swim. You know what I mean? And I'm panicking, I'm jumping up. Now I'm looking at my sister. She's not seeing, and I can't scream. So then, like, I gave up, like, jumping. And then, like, when I got my feet touched the bottom, I was like, you know what? Here's the edge. Let me crawl up towards the steps and then climb back out and rescue myself. And yeah, and I still remember that moment very vividly, because every single moment in my life where I've been tested, I've always had to figure out how to breathe. You know what I mean? There's a song that I wrote with Kid X. It's called Mzala Wam. It's on TDK, Mzala Wam. And the lyrics, I say, Father, pray for me. I'm in too deep. They said I'd learn to breathe underwater. They say they care for me. I turn my back to hear him cursing me. I record that. Are you praying for me? I told my cousin, now he's scared for me. But right before that, he said play for me. Till the end, from the beginning, hit repeat. And then he paused for a minute and started singing Mzala Wam, Mzala Wam, Mzala Wam. Mzala Wam, Mzala Wam, Mzala Wam. And that goes back to me retelling this story of me swimming. I had to learn to breathe underwater to my cousin, you know what I mean? And like, I was at the high school I was at the time, you know, I could tell that there was a difference because I wasn't from NKOSI, or I wasn't living in NKOSI, even though I was from there. And we just had a different culture with the guys that lived there and went to the same school as me. And I was telling my cousin about, you know, how I feel like I'm surrounded by people that are just envious of me, jealous of me, and I've done nothing wrong to them, you know what I mean? And yeah, so that's where Mzala Wam came from. And that's just my survival instinct. And this time I was like, damn, like I cannot breathe underwater. You know what I mean? There was a certain point in time when I got married, it was as if I had a scuba diving device, you know, a self-contained underwater breathing apparatus, you know, and
Shapkunjan Makenge.
And my
Umpola live. Not go to live. Zogal.
Sure. So
Shapkunjan Buffet. On.
So now I'm snorkeling. I don't have my oxygen tank underwater. I cannot stay under the water. You know what I mean? And when you come up from under the water, that's when you're vulnerable to the seagulls, to the albatross. You know what I mean? Anything can just find you isolated in that ocean. And yeah, man,
let the guy greet now.
Dealing with that situation.
Zogala, me bro, Rosa TV. Zogala kadaba ko bona pila, sure.
Hey, how's it?
How's it? What's in the bag?
It's money.
No, let's see.
It's money. You want to speak next to the mic so we can hear you.
This is for security.
Speak next to the mic so we can hear you.
Okay, I know.
Even if I had it, was to protect you.
Barking kunama hanya anoroba obo, sure.
How's it?
Dumedi is that that's all.
Hey, Dumelang to everyone out there. My name is Tsepo Mahlangu Mgwezane. Kalel Kalile Dada SP Minang Tommy Mundriba Bang Tomago. I go by the name of Fly Kate RSA. No, the thing is like.
You got a nice smile.
Nah, for sure, man. You know, that one is a no-brainer, you know. So some people, you know, they take that for a weakness, but sometimes you gotta demonstrate. Sure. You gotta bring out the beast. But then it's all love at the end of the day, you know. And I love what you guys are doing, you know. And
how do you know Nota?
How do I know Nota?
Yeah.
Come on, who doesn't know Nota? If you don't know Nota, then that means you don't have access to the internet. You don't have access to YouTube. Like, no, like, Spuda, like, come on, no cap, like, for reals, man.
No cap, that's a fail.
No, like, come on, man, like, Hustler's Corner, podcasting shit, and when you're always on every podcast, man, like if you don't, like, I feel like if you have a podcast and Nota, like, like podcasting, how that means like your podcast is whack. Like, no, like for real, you understand?
Yeah.
Until like Nota comes through to your podcast, and then that's a stamp of approval. And man, I always like wonder, bruh, like, how do you know all? You know everything. Like,
interview Nota for like 3 minutes.
Okay, Nota.
Tora, there's your mic.
Hold on. Our sound guys will need to fix this.
All right. No, I'm good.
Interview, maybe him with about 5-6 different questions.
Yeah.
So,
what have you always wanted to ask? Sorry, please remind me your name again.
My name is Tsepo
Mahlangu.
Hey, guys, you don't
Are you
know,
from Gwandebele?
No, my family is from Gwandebele, you know.
Yeah, okay.
So me, okay. So
where in Gwandebele? Camille Refiro or whatever.
Hey, my man, I don't know, man.
You don't know?
I'm a Jersey.
Lochani.
Hey, Lochani, you know, come get me. Come get me,
Come
you
get
know.
Tsepo,
So I got lost in your podcast, you know. So shout out. Yeah, so if I were to interview you, man, Shags, bro, like, what goes on in your mind, like, on a daily basis, you know? Like, when you wake up, like, what is the first thought? Like, what is, like, what
my first thought when I wake up is, damn, how much have I missed?
That's odd. But then, that's a great question to ask.
As many questions as
All right. So, what do you think about, like, the podcast industry, like, here in South Africa, as compared to, like,
anywhere else in the world?
Yeah, because you've been everywhere.
Yeah, well, I've been to some places. I've been almost everywhere in America, not everywhere in the world. Yeah, so and South Africa, and a lot of places in Africa. So what we have from my travels around the African continent is like we've got a really unique modern culture You know, ours is not only is it diverse, but it's also very dynamic and fast changing. So the podcasting space is about capturing culture or time capsules of a moment in time, you know, current affairs or history, you know what I mean? How do we frame history in this current context? All those types of things. And we've got lots of stories. And we love communicating. It's part of our culture, you know. The first podcast we had were Kokone. The guys just talking nonsense the whole entire time, you know, dissing people that are walking past, all that type of stuff. So we're just having those conversations, and now we've got them online on YouTube, and we're able to share them, and it's a natural thing. So I'm just encouraged to see how the space is growing, how many more people are coming in, and how many more people are coming even though there is no money in it, and still staying committed. Like there's lots of people who've been at it for 2-3 years, and I see that they're still not making money from it, but they're still committed, you know, and it's a long-term investment in cultural preservation, and that's what the exercise is, you know what I mean, and that's how we leave a richer legacy for those that are coming after us, because we are able to strip away some of the mystique of like the entertainment and media industry. You know, people are able to learn how it works themselves by being practitioners. And with that as well, they're able to teach a whole lot more people as they're learning. You know, and that spreads the knowledge. And when you've got knowledge about something, you've got a certain or a different level of appreciation for it. Do you go to art galleries?
Hey,
okay,
no,
but
I don't.
Do you know anything about art?
Invite me, like
no, but do you know a lot about art?
Yeah, I do.
Like art, like
fine art.
Yeah, you know.
No.
Yeah. So the thing is that someone who knows a lot about fine art, black people are into fine art. We're the inventors of fine art. You know what I mean? We are fine art, actually, like from God, by design. But someone who's really interested in fine art, they appreciate it differently. You know, when they go to a gallery, they appreciate it differently. It's like someone who goes to watch football. You know, who's a super fan who knows the game. When they watch at the stadium, they appreciate it differently. So the more we are teaching, the more we are learning. The more we're learning, the more people are being taught appreciation for certain things. And the more that appreciation goes, and the more people have got, you know, more diverse perspectives.
Sure. Sorry to interject, you know. I'm very passionate about my country. You know, that's why I like guys like you guys. You know, I like what you guys are doing. You know. So I feel like this is a very important question to ask. So like, we're living in a country that has so much potential, and it pains me each and every time. And I was having a conversation with the guys to say, I don't feel, because I grew up in Ekasi all my life, but now, you know, I changed locations. I can feel a different type of energy, all right? And I'm like, yo, Ekasi, it doesn't feel the same anymore, you know? So, like, from your perspective, like, what do you think, like, it would take South Africa as a collective, you know, to get where it's supposed to be? Because I don't believe we should be where we are, like, as a country. I feel like we should be, like, further than most countries, because like we are like one of the most resourced countries in the whole world, you know. So like, what would it take? So but from like an arts perspective,
not just from arts, it's like about internalizing the positive narrative. So the reason why we are failing to internalize the narrative, and the reason why you feel different, is because Ekasi is a place that people are trying to escape from. You know what I mean? Back in the Cold War era, there was the Iron Curtain, you know. There was the Berlin Wall, and there was the communist world, and then there was the capitalist world, and everyone in the communist world was seeing what was happening in the capitalist world, and they wanted to escape to the capitalist world. Well, a lot of people, and that's exactly what's happening with Ekasi, is that you want to escape Ekasi because you were restricted, right? But when you now are exposed to other things, you actually then learn the beauty of Ekasi. You learn to appreciate it. You learn how it was created, right? And the things that you miss about it. But that narrative still hasn't changed, that it's a place to escape. You understand? So if we change that narrative, the same way now people are saying, hey, actually things in the capitalist world seem to be falling apart. Maybe these other guys were right. Maybe China was right. You know, maybe China is doing things better than the United States of America because China's economy is growing faster than America and it's almost surpassing it with purchasing power parity. You know what I mean? So that's the main thing. It's about reframing everything. You need to reframe ICASI. You need to say, what about my ICASI is going to bring more of us back? You know what I mean? To reinvest, because there's lots of opportunity here. The opportunity is in the people.
Yeah.
And if you don't value those people and you don't make use of that opportunity, then you're going to feel the way you do naturally. You know what I mean? You're going to feel like the potential is wasted because you can see it all around you, but nothing is being done with it because the attitudes in general are, what are we going to do for this place that we want to leave?
Yeah, no, like you're raising a very important point, you know, because like everyone has that.
That's why we're here today.
You wanna vibe, Emma Kishi and stuff like that, and no one is actually thinking, you know, let's change, let's make ICASI a suburb. You know, how can we do that?
Well, it is a suburb, but let's make it a place that we are proud of. That's it. That's it. Let's just make it a place we are proud of.
What, like, dude, when I was you know, like. Like,
no.
What do you get? Do you have like inkavis or something? Because this guy's opinion, yo, he'll be on Twitter. I'm like, yo. If I said this to Spoo, I know because I can't. Like, I wouldn't even go to the shops. Like, for reals. Like,
I saw Sfiso Meyu on Podcast and Chill yesterday, and he was like, yeah, he only has faith in God. God is protecting him, and I was like, yeah,
church, man.
You know, I feel just like him.
Yo, but guys, like, yo, I like, yo, man, I love you guys. Like, you don't know,
thank you.
I worship you guys.
I appreciate it.
Every time, I have two phones. I have an iPhone and, you know, the Android. I can download, like, you know, some podcasts that side. If I can stream, you know, sometimes, you know, bad week. But I watch you guys, like, you know, I learn a lot from you guys, you know.
Thank you.
And what you guys, like, are doing, it's much bigger than what you guys are thinking, you know. Like me now, I'm the testament of that, because what you guys are talking about, I go out there and put it to practice. I don't know about others, you understand? I'm not one to write comments to say, hey, Nota in. I understand? I know I won't agree with everything you say, but out of what you did, because you didn't just wake up, you know, that means like you had something in you, you know, to say, you know, I want to deliver this, I want to share this, and I take away like what can work in my favor, or I understand, and use that and ignore the rest. Yeah, well, so that's why, like, when I see people like Ade, DJ Spoo, Wednesday, Nisaka Kulisinche, and everything, I'm like, how is that gonna help you? Okay, Manga Kulisi, like, how is that gonna? No, like, honestly speaking, you know. But yeah, my face, you like what you guys are doing. I love it. Like, I don't know, like, this is God. Yeah, this is God. Now I believe God. Yo, I
never grab some water there, my G.
I left my car. I was like, I used public transport. I was complaining on the way to these gents, man. I was like, in bro. This is how it's supposed to be, man. Like, I love you guys.
That's the sense of humor that God has.
Yo.
The fact that you left your car and got the soul solar. Little did you know, God knew that you'll be us today and you'll be on the podcast.
Hey, God is amazing. Which podcast is this going?
Hustlers.
For real?
Yeah.
You're gonna edit this. I know you guys.
No.
And you edit this. I'm unsubscribing. I'm serious. You get comments.
I love you, bro.
I love you
too,
too,
bro.
bro.
Your social media so that
okay, my social media on Instagram is PHLYKID. It's FlyKid, all right? So I like to be different. Everything I do is different, all right?
FlyKid.
Yeah, FlyKid. But I didn't want to write it like the way everyone writes it, all right? Because I write what I like. So, yeah, Twitter, yeah, I forgot. I'm not like much of... Yeah, Facebook is PHLYKDRSA. So I do music. I do hip-hop. I've been doing it like since forever.
While he's in the lucid day, comes on.
Don't worry. Yeah, come.
Yeah.
I mean, I edit right now, so.
Yeah.
It's a cast, the podcast.
I mean.
So, sure.
Hola.
Melo phatha
Hey,
umlilo.
Umlilo,
Umlilo straight.
Fire,
This is the best energy drink brand in the world.
Thank you, man. Let's pan and train. Let's show the best of it.
And apart
Let's
from
show the
that,
best too, man. Let's pan and train. Thanks a lot. Thanks.
Whatever on social media.
Hey, continue doing your work.
Divine crap.
How about Levati? How about
you,
Levati?
Sorry, man.
Levati.
Sharp, Buffett.
Yeah, yeah.
Makenge.
So,
That's the energy that I like about the hood, you know. And we did say with Nota, I think it was 3 weeks ago, and then we said we want to visit some institutions out there. Since the matriculants exam, I think maybe it's even a better idea. Today we're in Tembisa at the weekend. Maybe it's a better idea for us. So maybe right on the comment section. So it's season goopy. And then we'll make it a live podcast with a live audience. Today we decided to come during the week, so at least it's not that busy. And we kind of thought, so which hood would you like for us to come to? I organize the invite. Would love to come there and record a live podcast with a live audience. Sure.
yeah, I know.
Thanks for the patience, bro.
No. Like,
Showing
I love that moment.
some love.
Yeah. No. You know, the funniest thing is that I get that all the time. Like, I was at there's a shopping center right opposite the Randburg Magistrates Court, and I was just outside there. They made me like a health thing because my nose was feeling a bit stuffy in the morning. So I was like, hey, I always take ginger. If my nose is just feeling, I don't want the flu to touch me. I was just standing there and like just so many people walk past showing love, and I keep myself indoors. Dainfern is a weird place because, you know, a lot of people there know each other or know each other from somewhere, or they're known people, you know what I mean? So they don't like to get into people's spaces because everyone is like, yo, I'm in my own bubble, you know. So whenever you step out and you go into places where they're not as familiar, you know what I mean? When you don't just bump into Steve Compella having coffee in the morning on an ordinary day, where it's not a normal thing, where you need to stop him and aggravate, shine a slungsak.
A guy word of the day.
Yeah, a guy word of the day. You can do better. Come on, coach, you can do better. Sure. Coach, come on, you can do better. So, you know, the love is always real. And, yeah, and the love that I've been getting, you know,
sure.
Just from the public, especially because of this platform, you know, people love you.
I appreciate
I don't know if you know.
I appreciate
I don't know if you know. People love Smuda.
We started on this platform.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, but
so,
I'm just so proud of what you guys have become and what you are becoming.
Yeah, you've rubbed off a lot of that love on me. You know, I've been chatting to Penwell as well a lot.
Hey Penzo, we miss you on the Hustlers Corner. When are you coming back? We said we we're gonna do an episode with Penson and Penwell, right?
Yeah, I think
all four of us.
Yeah,
I think that one will be nice with an audience, with a live audience.
Yeah, I think
we'll find a place to do it.
We need to do it in Grahamstown.
You think we must go to Grahamstown?
Oh, sorry, Makanda.
Where's Makanda?
It's Grahamstown now.
Grahamstown is now called Makanda.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for the game, which you drop every week.
No, I just say, we were at the Black Motion launch. If we wanna segue now.
Black Motion, brand new album. That's dope. Congratulations, boys.
Yeah, I saw Smuda there.
I'm on about 3 tracks there.
I saw Smuda there.
Yeah, no, I was there, of course.
Yeah,
I've been during winter. Yeah, I was with the Black Motion guys almost every other night, every week. We're recording. It was cold, bro, but we're recording through and through. And I'm just so glad and happy how the final product, the final album has turned out.
Yeah, they even
thank you guys for featuring me. I'm very, very humble.
Put you on the stage there at the bottom.
That was
in
nice.
The cinema. You know, we're at Hyde Park. I had lots of popcorn.
Me too. Yeah.
You know, I love going to the movies and I love popcorn. But the day after eating popcorn, my God, I'm not in my 20s anymore. So, you know, I need to now limit my popcorn intake.
Guys, check out a track called Konnichiwa on the brand new Black Motion. Obviously, Takara is a dope track. Check out Rabotsela. Check out, this has got multiple tracks. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, there's lots of tracks. So it's their 10th studio album. I think it's the first one with the reformed duo. So they've got the new member Problem Child as well in it.
There's a problem, that man.
Yeah,
plays with no headphones.
No,
it's too
so
dope.
Black Motion, a great job, but please, Small is the spokesperson as always.
He doesn't like speaking, that man.
He doesn't like speaking, right? But he was always the better speaker, so he was always the spokesperson, right? So he came up with a style. You know what I mean? That is like, okay, this is the talking Black Motion guy, the one that talks, because the other one doesn't talk at all, right? So now they've got a new member, and they're like, okay, now I see Small's like, yo, you can talk, nah? Yeah, let me not talk all the time. Yo, bro, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, because just how he taught himself how to articulate, and speak about music. Like Thabo is a very passionate guy when it comes to music. Like, he's really passionate about music, you know what I mean? He loves soul. He really wants to get into the essence of music. And apart from just being, a multi-talented percussionist whose style is copied by, DJs all over the world, the DJ percussionist combo. He's a cool guy, you know what I mean? Like a really likable guy, he fits in anywhere. You can find him hanging with anybody's squad. You know what I mean? I don't know how much of your touring days you still remember. But remember back in your touring days, everyone used to have you guys would all go to the same festivals and same gigs, but everyone had their squad. Like, Lazy. Thabo was always a guy who's like, he bloms with everybody's
with
squad.
Everyone, with anyone.
You understand what I'm saying?
Cool guy to hang out with.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I'm saying I had such great studio sessions this winter.
Yeah.
It was beautiful to hang out with Black Motion, man.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys. We love you so much.
Yeah, no.
And I also like the fact that Murder endorsed the album. He features on one track, which is dope.
Okay, nice.
Even though he's no longer with Thabo, he's moved on. But there's no beef. I think the public still think there's beef or something. There's no beef.
Okay.
They can still work together, etc. But yeah, they're no longer what they used to be. They're no longer what they used to be before. They've all grown, but they're still the same machi.
Yeah, but they got an amazing catalog either way.
Yeah.
You know
But Problem Child, that boy is a problem.
Yeah, no, he's always been.
I'm gonna put in a link of a mix that he did for us at Radio 2000. That Problem Child. He mixes with no headphones. Listen to that mix.
I play with no headphones too.
It's almost 100,000 views.
Ever see me playing with headphones? I don't play with headphones. We real G's don't play with headphones. Yeah, ngiyadlala.
Serious.
Oh,
Hola boy. Shap kunjani?
Oh,
Sisonke boy mnandi. Sure. Sure. Ngiyakunqanywa ma. Ngiyakunqanywa.
Yazi uthini?
Ubani igama?
Amehlo.
Sure. Mahlo. Ngasilebale me bra, robo botle.
Amehlo.
Ngasilebale me bra. Ke o firsta.
Unofonela ka re ya utshela amehlo.
Ngasilebale me bra. Danki ke tsona o te tlhokomele.
Ke te tlhokometse too much for man.
Danko. Asibonge.
Abuti.
Yeshona boss.
Wena abuti ke leboha.
hola.
Ukuphotse lebitso lawo.
Nhlamulo.
Nhlamulo.
Yeah.
Ku radio man.
No, akekho radio, akekho TV.
Maruka mitsa Nota. Uka mitsa Nota or Nota.
Nota.
Yeah, Nota.
Nota.
Yeah, Nota. Danki mahlo. I never uhlululo samtsavi. As long as ploma leni na utlomtsavi.
Hola. Hola Moe.
Danki Isaac. Kitso.
DJ Spoo.
Danko. Hola Maihlo. Re tlo zogala bo machita ba itse go khutle not next week, the other end of October.
The other week.
Re tlo shapa live podcast and then ha qeta be re shapa after party.
Oh, no live podcast.
Sure. Yeah. Awumzume lapha bonakala. Sure.
Bayambona.
Bakuveza. Ufuna ukuvela nomuntu wakho. Bolela libona da.
Sure.
1632.
So
Akukrend ungawari kukrend mnandi. Kukrend sure. Hola Maihlo.
yo
Utlhokomele.
ulizwile lela bus.
Shamsha.
Sound man.
Hola.
SMEGA, Nyugu, SMEGA. Nota. Sure. Nota. Ungawazi uzomazi, uthanda ungathanda uzomazi. Sure. Sha.
Akehla mo TV.
Danko boy ne. Danko. Shap shap. Oi oi.
Hola.
Shap.
Yeah, uzudlala ihash lapho. Ngibona ngebhodlela.
Ayichavi number machets. Sure.
So, you know, Black Motion dropped their thing. I don't know what other music you've been listening to.
Jeez, I've been listening. I've
listened
listened
to
to
Jala
Aries.
Tukzin?
I have now listened to the brand new Aries. I've been listening to
Did we speak about it last time?
Mpo Wave. We spoke about hip hop. We spoke about Back to the City and the concerts. We spoke about Delicious. We spoke about Usmamane. We spoke a lot about hip hop.
Pastor Rhymes.
We haven't spoken about Busta Rhymes. When I heard Busta Rhymes saying Gucci he lost an iPhone 12, I felt better. I felt good.
No,
Because
bamshayid.
mina ngiSpanish phone yakudala. So nangithi ukuthi no Busta Rhymes ushaya nge-iPhone 12. Ngafuna kangcono.
Ayikho. Mina my theory is that khona umuntu bekashaya nge-iPhone 12 or bekafuna i-iPhone eneva. Watshela uPastor ukuthi yo bangijontshela ifone, uPastor wathi hawu bangijontshela ifone kuphi, wathi khona la bayifuna bangayitholi. Pastor wathembisa abantu aba 90,000. Hey manje ngathola le phone elahlekile ngizonika 90,000. Ayikho leyo phone.
Azangathi 90,000 uthe malini $6,000.
Imalini le.
Mara ngithi yena akazi uzitshela ukuthi 6,000 nje imali encane. Kanti akazi ukuthi yo i90 score, i90 gorilla, 90 blocks yo. Wamtshelile after ukuthi hey ndoda la kuse America inyuka bhaya lo ishoyo.
So ngibona ngathi my sister utholele iPhone 15 whatever a brand new. Winile akuna phone elahlekile ngoba why bangaspanisanga find my iPhone.
Akakavayo uyacava ne?
No, usesekhona. Uvani.
Do you know the number one reason
No, magavai.
why a lot of our African American brothers and sisters, especially brothers, end up settling like us?
Yeah.
Two things. Their dollar goes a long way like us and they get to see the quality of life.
Yeah.
Number two, abosisibethu.
No, that's true.
Bayabona ukuthi akusama BBL into lezi ama original Mario every second person ngantu so believe ndabo bahlahlametla believe ndo.
No, that's one thing, but you must do it properly. You must do it because like most deaf is now banned.
I know, but it sounds like Busta Rhymes is trying to do it properly.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying.
Because he did speak that he's looking for citizenship and all of that stuff.
We're not talking about it just for the Busta Rhymes issue. I'm just saying in general, like a lot of our American brothers and sisters that want to come here, just do it properly. Don't get banned, because then you're stuck and you can't come here and you'll miss it. You'll search for your father's death certificate.
Yeah, do it legally.
Wanting to come here.
Do it legally proper. Then you're sorted.
There you go. So yeah, man, I'm just dampened by I haven't found any new music that's really moved me. Or maybe I was going through a lot this week, so I didn't really check out much. I didn't even check out the what is it called, the Jala Tukzin, but I saw it's like number 1 on the charts, and yeah, oh yes, Gucci. I haven't even heard it.
Oh no, I haven't heard it.
Yeah, Gucci. So I think that's what's his name? Tandeni's song with Mahu, and you know how much I love Mahu.
Yeah.
Like yo. So I mean, I'm glad she's collaborating with people outside of just your normal Amapiano DJs and piano. That's a ZCC greeting for those that don't know. So that's about the only song that I think, like, you know.
I think maybe we'll focus more on what's been happening in the culture. I've just been worried about your well-being. I've been worried about your case as well, as much as the audience has been as well. And obviously some of them have been calling me out as well. Guti, Rodman let you Nota. Sifuna understand that is okay. I'm also concerned to Krendina. But I'm glad I heard. And that's why from the other side as well, as a responsible South African citizen and somebody who's a father of a daughter, that's why I'd ask you questions like, do you believe young girls, when they speak out, they should be listened to? And I'm glad that you're handling it with through the law and with such grace.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Even if you're in the right, you're in the wrong, whatever it might be. But it's always nice to we are an elder now. You no longer learn Nota lona wakudala bo useseyintwana so manje. You know, now soon uzobe NKOSI. You know, so it does matter.
I'm delayed.
No, you're not. It's okay.
34.
It'll happen in God's time. My first daughter was 34, so it's okay. You're not late. Yeah, you're not late. I know it's considered late according to society, but I still do reiterate when young girl, even when I was also called out in the past about my own issues in the past. I wouldn't, come out and fight or whatever. I'd know that people will crucify me and say whatever out there, but I've always stood and I still stand on it. When young girls speak out and cry out loud, they should be listened to. You know? And that's very, very important.
Yeah, no, that's true.
But at the same time, I like the fact that you're putting the merits of what has happened on the table to say these are the facts and this is what has happened, without having to you've already explained on the no narrative podcast.
Own narrative.
Yeah, guys,
own,
right?
Yeah,
it's Precious's. Guys, go check it out and you'll find out Promises podcast. Not Precious, Promise, right? Yeah, thank you, sis. Precious Promise yakalisa siyabonga muhle umsebenzi.
Yeah,
go check it out over there. But thank you for being brave enough to open up about it.
No, thank you. Like I really appreciate it. And I'd like a big shout out to a lot of I saw Madam Speaker. I never really was.
She's grown. She's almost 100,000 subscribers.
I think I met her.
Yeah.
Didn't you introduce me to her? I think I met her
at M Studios.
Yeah, like, hey, this was Madam Speaker. I think I might have bumped into her somewhere, introduced, but I've never seen her channel, so I watched it for the first time.
Great work, my sister. Keep growing, keep pushing.
So she had a whole live and she was talking about me, so I was like, hey, being too, but I wanted to see. I was intrigued, and like I was just listening to it, and I'm like, in the previous 2 episodes that me and DJ Spoo have done, you guys heard me talk about us needing our mothers, our sisters, our women cousins to understand the plight of black men. You know what I mean? Like we're really targets. You know what I mean? It's a war. It's a spiritual war everywhere. We are seen as guilty before proven innocent. You know what I mean? We're seen as culprits. We're seen as the accused. We are convicted at birth as black men, and we are condemned for life as black men. And we need our sisters to, give us a hand. In the same way, when there's calls to listen to our sisters' cries about victimization, we do stand up. There's lots of movements that have been backed and supported by black men as well in an effort to, curb violence against women, intimate partner violence, and just create better relations between people. So I think it's time for our sisters to also step in. Had it not been for my sisters, the many sisters that have stood up for me and said, listen, please people, let us hear the merits of this case and let us not be quick to presume guilt. Let's give him innocent until proven guilty. You know what I mean? I'm very grateful for that, because the court of public opinion is very important, and they could have torn me apart, and they didn't. And of course, yes, there are some hurtful comments from, people, whether they be trolling or whatever the case may be, but they're in the minority, And so the majority of the response to what I've been facing has been supportive. And I'm just glad that the time that we put in, the effort that we put in trying to empower people with some of the knowledge we've been privileged to acquire, is also coming back to us in the grace that we're given by people when our characters come into questions and
Hello,
our
Bushan.
reputations are
Nami
challenged.
appeal. Yeah.
So yeah, thanks to all those sisters. Yeah, and it's a tough week still ahead, tough couple of days coming up, but we move in faith, we're prayerful, and I'm Daniel in the den of lions, and the Lord will shut their mouths, and none of these lions will devour me.
2 last questions from me. First or second last would be, you have gone for a protection order against your accuser. I'm assuming you obviously are not speaking to her. If you were to say anything right now, or if you had to say anything to her right now, what would that be onto this camera? And if you wouldn't want to say anything, that's still fine.
Look, I wouldn't say anything to my accuser. I don't think that would be appropriate because of the seriousness and the nature of the accusations against me. But, I've got a message for my own mother and all mothers out there. I feel like I'm all of your son, and I assure you that what I'm being accused of is not anything that is consistent with my character, with my behavior. As mothers, your mothers and children are raised by the village. So the village of mothers, I am your child. And what is happening to me can happen to any one of us. I'd like to thank you for your support and showing concern in this trying and testing time in my life, and to any mothers that may be on the other side of the coin, that may be mothers that are supporting an accuser who, for whatever reason, feels the need to, portray events in the worst way possible to secure a possible conviction against someone that they feel might have treated them badly or might have broken a promise to them or might not have fulfilled the relationship that they wanted to have. I want you to think about the effects on someone else's life for a point to be proven. And how unfair that is. And I hope that any mothers that are experiencing what my mother is going through, they find strength and that they give their sons the necessary support. And to any mothers on the other end who are supporting a child who might have put someone like me in my position, make sure that you interrogate whatever it is that is the claim fully, because the consequences of even a small misrepresentation or a small mischaracterization of events can rob someone of more than just their time. It can rob them of opportunities in life that they can never gain back, and it can also rob the credibility of genuine victims, because there are many victims out there that have been genuinely violated and that just don't have the necessary support because there's skepticism about accusations that are made and that are not based on an accurate representation of the facts. So yeah, that's the one question. And then your last question?
And then my last question would be, the case gets tried in court, it gets tested, and the truth finally comes out. After the truth comes out, what would you like to happen to the accuser if it's found that you are indeed in the court of law innocent?
Well, I mean, that's why I got the protection order. So that's an extortion case. So that's what follows this. And I don't know what the laws are. I haven't researched the exact laws on what happens in a case of an extortion.
But what would you like to happen to the accuser?
Well, I'd like to pursue the extortion case. Yeah, like that one, I need to pursue it. And it's not for me. Extortion has become very rampant. I mean, there's many levels of extortion here. There's extortion in the case that I'm in. There's extortion rings, protection fees, and all those types of things. So extortion is a serious problem, in our country, and it needs to be stemmed out, and there needs to be consequences for all forms of extortion. And that's what I'd like to think about once I've gotten past this first phase. And this first phase is proving my innocence, which I'm confident of in doing, and which is why I don't mind speaking about this, because I'm confident in my innocence. You know what I mean? And at the same time, I don't want the people that support me to think, oh, he's quiet. Maybe he's feeling guilty, or maybe he's ashamed, or whatever. You know what I mean? I want them to know that, just as much as they believe in me, to be in a certain character that they've gotten to know, I maintain that, even in this very moment, And I think that's the main thing. But shout out to El Tito as well. I had an hour-long phone call with El Tito, just making me laugh the whole time. So
you said to me earlier, I think almost an hour ago when the episode started, that your accuser would like to see the outcome of this with you in jail. You said that in prison.
Yeah.
What would you like the outcome to be as soon as your innocence is found, as far as your accuser is concerned?
Well, I mean, what
would you like for her to learn a lesson? Would you like for her to give a public apology? What would you like to see happen?
I don't want an apology. I don't want any gesture. I don't want anything. I just want justice, as the law provides, because that is what is being sought against me. Should I be found guilty? You know what I mean? Justice as the law provides, right? So that is it. I mean, obviously I've seen the statements that have been made by my accuser, and they're very clear and unequivocal. So, there's nothing we can do about that, and I don't foresee a retraction or withdrawal, and I don't need one. You know what I mean? I'm innocent, so it is what it is.
Okay, you're also ready for when she goes out to tell her side of the story, maybe even after the case, if she decides to do interviews on podcasts, etc. Will you not be hurt?
I will do everything legally possible to ensure that this nightmare is not extended.
Okay. Thank you very much,
you know
my
what
brother.
I mean? Thank you so much.
May God bless you and be strong, yeah?
No, thank you. Thank you for giving me this time, and thank you for giving me this support, and thank you for allowing me to be heard. Many times where many men in what I can call a similar position to mine now, everyone just shuts them out. No one wants to hear them out. And that can make people spiral into self-destructive things. You know what I mean? I've got nothing to run from. I've got nothing to hide. You know what I mean? Like I said, I've got nothing to hide. I let everyone in my inbox, in my WhatsApp inbox. You know what I mean? And that's how transparent I am. You know what I mean? Even in private, there's nothing that I would say that I wouldn't stand behind publicly.
And to the true victims out there, guys, do not be afraid to speak out.
Yeah.
We are here. We love you. We are your fathers, your brothers, your uncles. We do care. Don't also be afraid of being victimized. Do speak out. And let the law take its course, especially to the true victims out there. Guys, thank you so much for watching the episode. This has been recorded at Kaslami. I'm happy to see Nota at Tembisa.
This is the logo, by the way.
Weekend. This logo means, is there a camera that can capture that logo? The logo means the stripes that are going downwards. That's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then the line that goes across says Friday, and then we start again. Basically, it's the weekend.
Yeah.
And it basically means, just like your 24-hour Monday to Friday, 247, but again, cash and carries or cafes or spots that trade on a daily basis, La kusebumnandini oba every day.
And every day is the weekend.
Tuesday namanje nasiqeda nje noNota nasiphuma kuyobe sekugcwele kuzobe kunabantu.
No, we ate
Tuesday
already. Yeah.
kugcwele, Monday kugcwele, Wednesday kugcwele, Sunday kugcwala every day.
And
so zokale the weekend eKaslame Tembisa esection abathi kusemwedi.
And what happened when I tasted inyama yenhloko?
That was beautiful.
No, what happened?
You finished the food before we did. You said it's
did.
soft.
No. I started singing.
Yeah, you started cooling, yeah.
I said, "Skababana bali softisa, give my mama's baby." That's how soft the meat was. I started singing.
The food is nice.
You know what I mean?
Guys, we ate
and excuse the toothpick. We've been eating meat.
We ate umlek. Oh, we had
eating.
Oh, we had mkhodu. We had nyama yenhloko. We had chicken.
Yeah.
What else did we have?
Hot body. Don't just say chicken.
Hot body, yeah.
Yes.
Now umlek, or they know that's hot body. Nan gosh.
Pelawe International.
Nescope on it. We had everything, guys. They've got everything here. Come here any day. You'll be sorted. Love you, bro. Take care of yourself.
Love you too, bro. Love you, all you guys watching and supporting. Please like, please subscribe, please share, please clip us up. And yeah, let's see how far the Hustlers Corner is going to go in the last couple of months of this year. It's summer now. I still don't understand why you're not wearing shorts.
It was cold this morning, bro. Pelamina, I'm up at 3 in the morning.
I was up at 10 to 4 this morning. It was freezing.
Is it? It was freezing. Bro.
Yeah, because I left my charger for my earphones in the car. So I had to go outside and go and fetch it. Like that's why, I know, big band.
So I'm on the radio like in the morning. So I'm up at 3. So it's freezing that time.
Like my neighbors are so close to me in my apartment, right? That I can't watch videos in my bed without them hearing what I'm watching. So and it's like 4 a.m. I don't want to wake up the neighbors. They probably have to take their kids to school. Like sometimes I can hear my neighbors' TikToks that they're watching.
Yeah.
Like sometimes umuntu makangena toilet ngiyayizwa TikTok yase next door ukuthi nomuntu use toilet and since abukeli TikTok yo.
Guys, we're out of here. We'll see you really soon. If you haven't been to the weekend at Tembisa, which you probably are the only one who come on, like everyone has been here. So make sure you come here. We are outside. It's spring, summer now. Yashisa. This is the place to be at Tembisa. Guys, make sure you show the ambience. Abantu baboni ndawo kugupi, baboni atweke ukuthi fresh kanjani.
Oven baked pizzas, not those electrical.
These are the same guys at the street food market. These are the same guys at the Pizza Sunday. These are now the same guys who are bringing you the weekend. And these are the same guys who are investing in other things. And their job is to invest in the hood, Kaslete, Tembisa. They just want to see the hood become a better place.
They got a butchery.
Yeah.
You know, so they're running a lot of businesses, and there's 3 partners. You know, one of them just went to go and get permission right now for a special venue for an event that they're doing on the 16th of December. So I think they'll be announcing that very soon, as soon as it's ready. So we must just support them.
Sendaju abafethu, see you in the next video. Ikasla makasi 1632 bathi kusetembisa. Dango.
Yeah, that plate. Nah, dog. That plate was weak.